This bond is unique in that it was developed, it was authored by the very community that was part of the bond election in May of 2015. So what we did was, rather than the superintendent and members of my cabinet assembling and looking at the data again, by data I mean the demographic study, the Jacobs engineering reports, the recommendations by the Equity and Enhancement Subcommittee or by the Facility Advisory Committee, or going out and looking at schools again, we actually decided to let our community, or a cross-section of our community, decide what they thought they could support. And I think what's important for the public to know is that they weren't all advocates or in support of either the May 2015 bond, and they planned in some cases to oppose a November bond. And our thinking behind that was that if we could get them to review the data, have the conversation, and reconsider their opposition, then it meant that others in the community may be willing to do the same as well. And so what we basically did is we provided them with the demographic data. They reviewed the Jacobs reports, both of them. They went on school visits. They read over the Equity and Enhancement Subcommittee recommendations.
What would you say is one of your most difficult challenges? Because I think the last bond was 2004, right? It's 11 years, and people have continuously said no.
Yeah, I think that the big challenge is that there are so many entities out there that are talking about the El Paso Electric Company, talking about an increase in rates. The city recently increased taxes. The county can always increase taxes, and I think at times it feels overwhelming to our community.
Along with YISD raising the rates, we also have the electric company, the gas company, the water utilities. They all want their portion, and they come up with this slogan, wow, it's almost like a movie that you would miss. Or maybe it's a latte that you don't get, or something like that. First off, I don't go to Starbucks. Movies, we go to the dollar. I mean, come on. YISD is not known for having that much money, and yet they're really asking for more and more and more.
People, especially people who've been in the community for a long, long time, is seeing El Paso become a major player on a global stage. And all of these investments are intended to make that happen. And the biggest and the most important one, in my opinion, is having a very strong public school system. The two things that people ask before moving or relocating their family is they want to know about the economy and they want to know about the local school system. There isn't enough money in the world to drag their kids to a community if it doesn't have a reputable school system.
I used to drive by Eastwood High School. Yeah, looks good to me. It never went inside. I didn't realize the ceiling tiles fall from the ceiling. And the building was built in '53, so they still have asbestos in them. I didn't realize that in the counselor's office that there's a gap between the ceiling and the wall about 1.5 feet. So if you've got the student that goes in there and wants to talk to the counselor because she just found out she's pregnant and she doesn't know how to tell her parents, or you have a student in there who's getting picked on, he doesn't know how to handle it, they can't have that conversation in private, and that broke my heart.
If we do in fact get the bond or vote yes and it passes this, how are we certain that it's going to go to a productive reason? I recently moved over to the other building. I left the magnet to go ahead and start some engineering programs, and I'm not kidding you, on my first move I got an ear infection and an eye infection in 1 week's worth of being in that building. And I decided to cover the ventilation with some of those furnace filters, and I mean, I have them. It's like in 3 weeks those things were black, and there's rust already in the ventilation. I mean, I see it every time they turn on the AC. So I see both views. I mean, yes, that we need it here if it's for the kids. I totally agree. We've lost one teacher already for health reasons. Yes. on this whatever it is, on the air quality at Bel Air. And, you know, I would attest to the whole thing. Well, why Eastwood getting a new school? You know, they have the refrigerated air systems there. Why couldn't Ballard get them on the previous bond?
Taxes are taxes. No matter how they're presented, they're taxes. And you're going to see an increase in your property taxes, plain and simple.
The way I see this bond, it's not about the construction of new buildings. It's not about remodeling existing buildings. It's not about athletic facilities. It's about the education of our kids.
Don't. Isn't that a fire issue? You can't open up the door?
No one will be able to get in or out.
Yeah, that's scary.
That looks like it's against code.
That one doesn't lock. So that one won't stay closed and this one won't open.
Yeah, it can't be used because it isn't up to code.
Hey, look up. Look up.
Those are all skylights that were just covered
Yeah,
up.
I see them.
Yeah, I feel bad for them too.
You right here?
Yes.
You sure wouldn't want to say anything private, would you?
No, ma'am. And then
What
you
happened to
see all
the
the wiring.
electrical up here?
That's phone.
That's phones?
All the wiring show.
Right.
It's just open.
Yes, ma'am.
Not exactly.
We call it the old gym. This is the new gym.
How new is the new gym?
1972. Yeah.
Oh, that's new?
We want parking, and we'd like to try and bring the softball field back from Scottsdale. Right here. Right here, this is right now faculty parking. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just look at what's happening to the wall here and the structure. And this is just a start, a glimpse of what you're going to get inside. We're worried about the safety of our students all the way throughout the school. But they've put braces up, but it's beyond repair. This really needs to be taken down at this point. And when we're talking about safety for our students, administration is right here. You have to go outside to get to the students. So not ideal, and there are 3 other schools just like this. When we were worried about what was going on as far as tornadoes yesterday, I was here and my assistant principals, and they were there. So we end up having to go there most of the day. So as far as safety, we have a lot of different places that people can get in, a lot of access points in 1 year. So you can feel the air conditioner coming out, and if you are trying to repair it, it's just not
Right, I was
working.
going to say, this isn't working? It's not holding it together?
But all these are opening up. 2-inch gap right here between these 2 classrooms, and the kids at the end of last school year were pushing pencils back and forth.
Oh yeah, they
between the 2
stand
classrooms.
outside and look.
Yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
pencils and pens and markers.
You can see where attempts to patch it, but doesn't work.
They've
All right, Penny, keep going.
come out all the time, but I can't show you much out here. There's a lot more, but you'll see what's happening right here with the runoff.
Is that window broken? That glass
Yes.
is broken, right?
Because of the window, the building shifted.
You can't open it or anything like that?
The length, and we've had problems, you know, with the kids that are running full speed, and look at the clearance right here. A couple feet and you're into the wall. The wear and tear, we've had so many games. Anytime we have an event, the stands will be completely full with parents. We have a lot of parental support. But just take a look at the condition of this gym. But when we run 4 teams, we've got 1 gym. Most schools have 2, as you know. And so consequently, we're running practice at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then